easier, better, longer, all that stuff without, needing to take drugs to be able to, address behaviors and habits, patterns, emotional attachments. Let's see, go live. I have a lot of buttons to push. Okay. I believe all the buttons are pushed. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, everybody. All right. Let's get this party started. So, being able to take a look at if you're a dieter and if you're making every day feel like you've either won or you've lost, right? You either won the day or you lost it. You either did good or you didn't do good. And then that emotional roller coaster that puts you on, and the pressure that does, and then the joy that steals from your life, and then how to correct that, what you can do about it. Trying to fix this glow I've got. It's not working. Oh well. All right. So a lot of people, they're stuck in weight loss and wellness journey for a really long time, and a lot longer than they need to be. And it's because, the reason that health feels so heavy is it's not just because change is hard. It's because you've turned every day into something you have to win, right? And there's an opportunity in freeing your mind from looking at your diet or your weight loss that way. And I want you to really hear what I'm going to tell you today, because this is not just another conversation about food or willpower or motivation or discipline. This is a totally different path, because most people think the way to get from where they are now, where they're frustrated, they're inconsistent, they're emotionally up and down with food, they're hard on themselves. They always start over, or they think, well, Monday is a new day. I'll start then, and feeling like one day means success and the next day means failure. They want That's what you've been experiencing. But what you want instead is healthier and lighter and more consistent and more peaceful and more in control, and more free. And you think that right now, how to get from where you are to where you want to be is stricter rules, more pressure, more monitoring, more self criticism, and more trying to win the day, because that's what you've been doing. And in an odd way, you think that that's how you're going to get to where you want to go. But clearly, that vehicle isn't working. And that vehicle that you've been using is not how you get there, or else you would be there, right? And so, for a whole lot of people, that vehicle is exactly what is making health feel exhausting. So, there's an opportunity in recognizing what I'm going to present you today. There is a different path to weight loss and to wellness than turning every day into win or lose. Right? The real path is learning how to stop making your worth ride on the outcome, and to retrain your inner patterns that keep health feeling, like a battle. Right? That's an opportunity. And that is the real path. That is the real vehicle. Because if I had to give you one, really big domino today for this whole live event, it would be if every meal, every craving, every slip, every weigh in, and every day is deciding how you feel about yourself, then no plan will feel peaceful for very long at all, right? The real path is changing the mental game that keeps turning health into a referendum on your worth. It's huge. It's a huge domino, right? Because once a person really gets it, they really get what I'm saying, then the need to take that next step and to get into a different vehicle becomes much more obvious, because then they understand why they can know what to do and still feel trapped, right? One off plan moment can ruin a whole day. They'll understand why they are always starting over, why the journey feels emotionally exhausting, why success never feels stable, and why even good days can still feel tense. I care about this a lot because I did not come to this conclusion from theory. I came to it from watching the same painful pattern over and over again in myself and in people. Right? I would work with people who genuinely wanted to change. They were smart, they were motivated, they had tried so many things. They often knew a lot about food, they knew what they should do. They had bought the plan, saved the post, followed the program, started on Mondays, restarted after weekends, promised themselves this time would be different. All those folks, I've done the same thing, right? I had done the same thing. And what I started seeing so clearly was that the real pain was not just in what they were eating, wasn't just in what they're eating. The real pain was in what every day meant. A good day meant I'm okay, I'm in control, I'm being good. Maybe I'm finally doing this, right? And a bad day meant I blew it, I failed, I always do this. Here we go again. I can't trust myself. Something is wrong with me. And once I saw that, everything changed for me, right? Because I realized so many people are not just trying to lose weight, they were trying to use the result to finally feel okay. They were using the scale, the meal, the craving, the workout, the day itself to answer a deeper question. And that was an emotional question. Right? Am I good enough yet? Am I in control yet? Can I finally feel better about myself now? And that is why the journey felt so miserable, because health was no longer just health, right? Now it was identity. Now it was self-worth. Now it was emotional survival. Now every day was loaded. And I remember realizing so clearly, right? The body journey becomes miserable the moment every single day starts deciding your worth. That was the shift, because now the problem was no longer just food, right? Now the problem was the relationship to food, the relationship to your body, the relationship to your journey, the relationship to yourself. And once I saw that, I knew this work had to go deeper than plans and pressure, right? So let's go through. I want to share with you 3 secrets. Secret number 1 is the first false belief related to that vehicle, right? This is where people believe the vehicle that gets them where they want to go is more pressure, more rules, more rigidity, right? More monitoring, more guilt, more obsession, more have to win today, right? That's the vehicle you have been using. And again, I'm not against structure and planning and prepping. I do lots of food prepping and planning, and all that sets me up for success. I'm not against intention. I am not against being committed, but that is not the real vehicle to get you to where you want to be. because a person can follow the plan and still feel miserable, right? They can lose weight and still feel trapped. They can have good days and still live in fear of bad days. They can know exactly what to do and still have no peace, because the old vehicle is make every day a test and hope I finally pass, right? I hope you finally pass. But the true vehicle is change the mental game so food and body and routine and results stop deciding who you are. That's the real vehicle. The mindset shift, right? The inner pattern change, the emotional retraining, the subconscious work, the rewiring of how you think, feel, react, and interpret your journey. Because if your mind is still treating every day like win or lose, then health will stay emotionally expensive. And that is exactly why I offer what I offer and why it's absolutely so different than anything else out there. Because I'm not just helping people try harder, I'm helping them retrain the deeper thoughts and habits and beliefs and patterns and programming that make health feel like a war. All right, and secret number 2 is related to your own internal belief systems, right? So this is where people think things like, maybe I just don't have discipline. Maybe I'm always going to struggle. Maybe I'm an emotional eater. Maybe I'm too far gone. Maybe I always sabotage myself. Maybe this works for other people, but not for me. Maybe I'm just not one of those people who can stay consistent. And I really want to slow that down for a moment, because a lot of the people that are calling, something, some internal identity, who they are, it's actually a pattern. It's actually a habit. And that's a huge other light bulb moment, because it's not your identity. Those little phrases, they're not your identity. They're patterns, they're habits. And a pattern of turning every day into a test, a pattern of feeling good only when you are perfect, a pattern of feeling like one slip means failure, a pattern of eating with emotional meaning attached to it, a pattern of swinging between control and collapse, a pattern of trying and tying your worth to your behavior. And if it is a pattern, it can be changed. If it is a habit, it can be changed. That's what's so beautiful about hypnosis, right? That's the good news. Because then the question is not what is wrong with me. The question becomes, what have I been rehearsing, repeating, reinforcing, right? What meaning do I keep attaching to my journey? What do I keep making food or the scale say about me? Right? What emotional pattern keeps making this heavier than it needs to be? What have I mistaken for just who I am? There's actually something I've repeated and reinforced and practiced. That is a much more empowering question, because if the issue is pattern, the answer is training. If the issue is a habit, the answer is mental training. It's trainings. It's accessing your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. It's doing hypnosis. It's training your thoughts differently. And that's exactly why my framework works, because I help people retrain their thoughts, their emotional habits, their self-talk, their beliefs, their routines, their identity patterns, and the subconscious programming that keeps the same cycle going. So no, you are not disqualified, even if you want to try to disqualify yourself. And no, this is not just for naturally disciplined people. And no, this is not, only for people who have never struggled. This can absolutely work for you if you are tired of making every day mean so much. And secret number 3, this is related to like your external false beliefs, right? This is where people think, I'd be healthier if there was less stress in my life, if my family ate differently, if my schedule were easier, if I had more time, if I weren't so busy, if I wasn't traveling so much, if I had more support, if my partner ate better also, if the seasons of life were different, if I could just get through this week. And yes, those things do matter, absolutely, but they are not the deepest blocker, because 2 people can be in similarly stressful circumstances and one still has a very different relationship to health than the other. And why is that? Right? Because the deeper issue is not only what is happening outside, it is the inner meaning and identity attached to it. So one person's mind turns every disruption into something like, I've failed, I'm off, here we go again, I can't trust myself. And another person's can have the same disruption and respond with, that was a moment, now I reset. And that difference actually matters. So the answer is not waiting for life to finally become easy enough for consistency. Right? The answer is learning how to build a healthier inner relationship to your journey, even while life is still life. And that is where real freedom begins. So let's make this practical, right? The next time you have an off-plan meal, a craving, a hard day, I want you to ask yourself, did this just happen or did I make it mean something about me? And that is huge, right? Did I just eat something off plan? Or did I turn it into, I failed, I blew it, I ruined the day, I always do this, I have no discipline, I might as well keep going, right? That is where so much suffering comes from. So then ask, what would this journey feel like if every day did not prove or did not have to prove my worth? And that question can change everything. So let's transition. If this is resonating with you, then you already know this goes deeper than diets and meal plans and short-term motivation. This is about the real path to weight loss and wellness. Not just what to eat, not just how to try harder, not just how to win more days. This is about changing the deeper mental and emotional patterns that keep health heavy, intense, and identity loaded, right? And that is exactly why I created what I created, because understanding the concept is powerful. But having a complete system to retrain it at the root is what changes it faster and deeper and more fully. So here's what I have and what I offer you. I do have a weight loss and wellness free web class. I have online courses. I have hypnosis downloads. I have my podcast, my excellence podcast. So, whether you choose to do the actual framework, which is 21 video lessons, they're each an hour and a half each. Hypnosis audios. The training is addressing what I call stress-free mindful living. So it helps eliminate emotional eating. The hypnosis helps to end habits and patterns, right? So you got lesson-specific hypnosis audios, 21 video lessons. You're part of a community. I call it Mind Mastered Collective, where you're in there in a private community with others that are looking to have peak human performance. I have monthly dialogue with Dawns as Q&As. And then I have years of recorded dialogue with Dawn, those monthly Q&As, years of them. So you're not just getting information, you're getting a complete framework, subconscious reinforcement, a community, live support, and years of replays to help you stop turning health into a daily judgment of your worth and start creating real peace and consistency and transformation from the inside out. So if this speaks to you and you know you are tired of making every day win or lose, then take the next step. Go to my website. It's dawngrant.com. You'll see the start here and drop down, and then you see weight loss and wellness, and there's a whole page devoted to you. So check it out, because every day doesn't have to tell you who you are in a negative way. The journey doesn't have to be exhausting. And that is exactly what I created this work to help you to change. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching this live. And, if you're ready, jump on and get done with those unhealthy habits. Let's see. There we go. See you next week. See you next week in the next live.